Hey everybody, it's Miss Alex again. So this week is Earth Day, so I thought we could read, of course, a very important and wonderful story, The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. It is a long story, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. The Lorax. At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, the wind smells of slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing except old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? Why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? For the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, the old Onceler still lives there. Ask him. He knows. Now, you won't see the Onceler. Don't knock on his door. He stays and is lurking at the top of his store. He lurks and is lurking cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffled moss. Moss? I'm not sure. And on special dark nights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail. You have to toss in 15 cents and a nail and the snail of a great, great, great grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes the most careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you've paid him away in his sleeve, his secret storage hole in his glove. Then he grunts. I will tell you by whisper-phone, for the secret I tell are for your ears alone. Slap down the whisper-phone to your ear, and the old Onceler whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through the snargling hose, and he sounds as if he has smallish bees up his nose. Now, I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time ago. Back. Way back in the day when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw the brown boboloots frolicking, frisking about in their barbaloo suits as they played in the shade of the truffula trees. From the rippling ponds came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those truffula trees. All my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leap of joy in my heart. I knew just what to do. I had loaded my cart. And in no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down the truffula tree with one chop, and with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft, and I kneaded. The instant I finished, I heard a gazop. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe it. That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy. That was and he spoke with a voice that was sharp and quite bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusting sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongue, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What? What's that thing you've made out of my Truffula tuff? Look, I said, there's no cause. Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a need. A need is a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses. Oh, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets or curtains, or cover your bicycle seat, the Lorax said. Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that foolish thing. But the very next minute, just I proved he was wrong, for just that minute a chap came along, and he thought that the need I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You can never tell just what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you'll please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called on my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here. Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehashkin. Sharp right turn at South Nitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thieves, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Then, oh, baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. We didn't skip anything, did we? Okay. So I quickly invented the super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees and 1 smacker. We were making needs 4 times as before, and that Lorax, he didn't come around anymore. But the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I am the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I am also in charge of the brown babaloots who play in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go around, and my poor barbaloots are getting the crumbies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, I cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but Business is business and business must grow, regardless of crumblies and tummies. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered my loads. Of the things I shipped out, I shipped them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering and selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again, he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old Narcissus once, or Lorax, came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax. He coughed and he wheezed, he sneezed and he snuffled and he snargled and sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a cruftless croak. Onceler, you're making such smoggless smoke. My poor swummy swans. Why, they can't sing a note. No one can sing with a smog in their throat. And so, said the Onceler, please pardon my cough, but they cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. Once more he snapped the Lorax. His damper was up. Let me say a few words about the gloppity glop. Your machinery chomps on day and night without stop, making gloppity glop, also sloppity slop. And what do you do with the leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler, you. You're glopping the ponds of the humming fish hum. No more can they hum. Their gills are quite gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on just doing what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring and biggering and biggering and biggering and turning more truffula trees into knees, which everyone, everyone, everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the field came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So, in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They all jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smogged stars. Now all that was left in the bad-smelling sky, was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance. Just gave me a very sad, sad, backwards glance. As he lifted himself by the seat of his pants, and I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through the hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the word unless. Whatever that meant. Well, I just can't guess. That was a long, long time ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, said the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So catch, called the Onceler. He let something fall. It's a truffula seed, the last one of them all. You're in charge of the last truffula seed, and the truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant new truffula trees, treat them with care, give them clean water, and feed them fresh air. Grow forests protected from axes that hack. The Lorax and all his friends may come back. I thought this was a great story to read because it's a hard time right now. Everyone's stuck at home. We got to keep going. We got to flatten that curve because unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot and stays home, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So today we're going to paint truffula trees. So grab your materials, your paper, your paints, your brushes, your water, or if you don't have those things, whatever you've got, crayons, markers, colored pencils. I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, everybody, if you're ready to go, got your paint supplies, paper, paint, brushes, crayons, markers, whatever you've got. Okay, so we read the story of the Lorax. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's one of my favorites, especially during the time of Earth Day and making sure that we take care of our planets and learn some more green ways of living. Okay, so I thought we could do some truffula trees. I already did a couple the other day just to kind of practice them out. So we'll do something really similar to this. But we'll also add in background, a sky, maybe some clouds. We're going to start with that first is the background, just like we did with the donut painting. And we're going to get going and then we'll do the truffula trees. So background first of the sky, the clouds, and then we'll do the truffula trees. All right, let's get going. So you want to mix your blue with white to make it a light blue sky, or again, you can make your sky whatever color you want. If you want a sunset sky, go for it. You do like your darker colors up at the top and your lighter colors down at the bottom. I'm just going to do a regular, beautiful blue cloudy sky today. So I'm going to fill in this blue here. And I'm going to do the whole page blue. So I'm going to skip this a little faster forward. So while you get everything, if you haven't already, get everything together. Get whatever color sky you want, and get that paper painted, and we'll see you there. Okay, so our sky is done. If you had trouble spreading your paint out, you remember you can always dip your brush in some water and that thins out the paint a little bit, or re-wets it if you want to. I added in just some spots of white just to kind of cover some more because apparently I didn't make enough light blue paint, but that's okay. Again, this is your painting and just keep going. So we're gonna let that dry for a minute or two and then we're gonna come back And we'll do some clouds. It should only take just a minute. All right. All right, guys. So our background, our sky is a little more dry. So what we're going to do is I want to add some clouds just because I think it looks put some more detail and definition into the painting. So we're going to take some white paint, just a little bit, and what we're going to do is we're going to just outline the clouds, and then to fill them in, we're actually going to like splot it on there. So it's going to look really cool. So just make as many or as few clouds as you like. Just kind of, I mean, if you making clouds is fun and making easy, you can do them any way you wish. Just remember, we're just doing the outline. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take, actually, yeah, we're going to go with that slightly bigger brush. Take your white paint, and what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of tap it. You're going to tap it on there, and you're going to just tap it in and fill it in, and that way it gives it kind of a more puffy look. And if you want it to have real texture, after you do your first layer, go back and do it again with more paint and just kind of let that glob sit on there, and that way it really pulls from the painting itself, kind of like a Van Gogh. So to start filling in those clouds, and I'll meet you at the end. All right, guys. So I actually kind of want to go over my clouds again, so I'm going to let them dry, and then I'm going to go over them again, and then I'll meet you back in just a few minutes. So keep working. Maybe pause the video if you need to, and I'll skip ahead. And I'll see you when we're ready to paint our trifula trees. All right, everybody. Clouds are all painted, and they're ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to start working on those trifula trees. So trifula trees, the colors were yellow and I think there were some pink ones and red ones and orange ones. So today I'm gonna make we're gonna do two, maybe even three. Definitely red, yellow, and orange. So we're gonna try to do three altogether. Let's see. So I'm gonna start with red, and I'm gonna have it at the very top corner over here, and it's going to come about halfway out. So the way to do, remember how we did like our petals last week? We kind of did the point to point to point. We're going to do point. It's going to be a curve point and then a curve point. So you're going to make like a half, you're going to make, well, we're going to make a lot of crescents. That's a good word for it. Like a bunch of half crescents that all kind of circle around each other is kind of the best way I figured out how to get that to go. So all right, so we're gonna do half crescent, and then we're gonna bring it up and around, and then do another one, and you're gonna, each time, you're gonna bring it, you're gonna make sure it tilts to the side. So when we do the one in the middle, you'll really see it. Okay, and then you're just gonna fill it in from the corner. And these are gonna need a second layer to really get that color to show up. Okay, that one looks really good. And so we're gonna move on to I'm gonna put the orange one in the middle. So we're gonna start orange and we're gonna do it right in the middle. So I kind of made like a half moon. And then we're gonna go from the bottom of that second line and bring it out again, do it again, make a half moon into the point. And make sure you kind of turn it every time. And they don't have to be perfect, like that one didn't turn out as well as I wanted it to. But we can always fix it later. But you want to just kind of make sure you bring that point and just kind of making like a spiral. Okay, and then we're gonna fill it in. Okay, and so because we need to do second layers, we're gonna let that one dry too, and we're gonna move on to the bottom corner. So I'm gonna do them kind of diagonally, and we're gonna do it again in the yellow. But again, truffle trees are all different and beautiful colors, so whichever colors you like, go for it. So you're just basically making a bunch of half crescents in a completely spiral pattern. I'm gonna go ahead and do that last one. Okay, we're gonna let that dry just for a little bit, and then we're gonna go over it at least one more time, maybe two, because of that blue. It really kind of changes the kind of color and texture we're trying to get. So when it dries, I'll see you in a little bit. All right, guys, I went over a few more times with my truffula truffs. This because the sky is blue and the colors tend to bleed through a little bit, so you might want to put a few layers on if you really want those colors to pop out, especially because yellow is such a light color against blue. That blue is almost always going to show through, so it's kind of a little more difficult. Something you can always do if you really want your truffula tree to be really yellow and no blue to shine through is to do maybe a layer of white and then go over it again with yellow. But we're going to move on to the next part. And that would be to do our truffula trunks. So you're going to need, so the tree trunks are yellow. So just get some more of that yellow. So you're going to want to go over those a few times too. So actually, maybe what we'll do is go over them in white first, like I just actually said, because that blue is going to shine through really easily through that white. So let's go over them in white first. And then when that white dries, we'll go over them in yellow. Or whatever, yeah. So it's really simple. Just start at the base. Oh, so we're gonna start at this middle tree because this bottom tree isn't, we're not even gonna see the trunk unless you wanna do it maybe right there, but we're not even gonna see that one. So you're really only gonna see the trunk of this one. And I think this red one at the top here, it's gonna come all the way down. So we're gonna, and they're kind of like wibble wobbly. So get creative with your tree trunks. So I've got that white there as my first base of my truffula tree trunk. And then this one, I'm gonna come from here and I'm gonna kind of snake it around, make it almost like an S shape. And again, we're only gonna do white because the blue is bleeding through, and to make sure that the yellow shines through, we're gonna do a layer of white first. Okay, we're gonna let that dry just for a minute, and then we'll come back and put that yellow on there. Okay, guys, so I'm back. You may notice that the tufts of my trees look a little different. I went ahead and did a layer of white over each one of my truffula tufts, and this way that they can be more vibrant and light against that darker contrasting background. So if you haven't done that already, go for it. And that's okay. If you want to keep, if you like it the way it is, go for it. So we're going to go ahead and work on the two tree trunks we have and outline those while this paint dries. So because we want this to dry now to make sure that when we put the next layer on that it's gonna be much more vibrant against that beautiful blue like they are in the book. So let's go ahead and get going on the trunks of the trees. Let's start with the furthest one. And see that yellow already looks so much better against that blue. Okay, so we still might have to do maybe a second layer on those yellow tree trunks, but we'll get to that in a minute when everything dries, and we'll come back and we'll do those, go over those truffula trucks again. And then we'll put the finishing touches with the black outline, and that's how you're really gonna make it look look beautiful like a truffula tree and from the story. So I'll see you guys in just a little bit. All right, guys, we're back. We're gonna our trees are drier. We're gonna go back and do our trunks again real quick. One more time. I don't think they're really gonna need a lot more layers, except maybe the second layer. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start back at the top with the red. And if they kind of turn out a little more pink than red, that works too. Doesn't matter. We're gonna go for it for our pink truffula trees. We're gonna get a lot of that, and we're gonna go back over it again. All right, that looks so much better. So I need to make more orange. So before we do that, let's just go ahead and do the yellow tree, and then we'll make some more orange. with our leftover red and yellow and go over it again. It definitely looks a lot more vibrant and you can see it a lot better. So I'm going to make some more orange, which is just yellow and red, and we're going to do that last Truffula tree, okay? All right, let's get on that orange, back on that last one. All right, those look a lot better. They're a lot more vibrant, and you can see that color a lot clearer, and that blue isn't coming through. So what we're going to do, the last part of this, we're almost done, is those trees are really divinely outlined by these big, beautiful black lines. So we're going to take that brush, clean it off. You want a brush that's going to have a point to it if you can. If not, if you don't, it's fine. And you're going to just, we're just going to get some black. You want to get some black on the edge of your paintbrush, like that, just a little bit, not a whole lot. And what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to outline each tuft so that the whole thing, and you're just gonna follow along on the tree line that you already made, like this. And you can see what a difference it's gonna make. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And you can cover up any sides that maybe you didn't really like. You're gonna cover it up with that black paint, so it doesn't matter. And the trees can still be wet for this one because it's fine. It's just black paint. Okay, so we've done our outlines, and if you want to add maybe just a little more definition to your trees, just add some little lines at the edges that kind of just stick out. You give it just a little, almost like you did it, give it some like texture here at the ends and maybe in the middle, just a few. And that just gives it a little more definition. Okay, so we're gonna add, we just have one more thing to do. It's really simple and it's the easiest part of the whole thing. You're gonna go, now on the Truffula trees, they have zigzags kind of placed throughout the trunks of the trees. So that's why we did all the black last. So we're gonna take that black, we're gonna get our paintbrush. If you push the paintbrush to the side, you're gonna get a nice good point on your brush. You want it to be flat, because what we're going to do is we're just going to make the zigzag lines on our Truffula troughs. And you can do it and just kind of stagger them out. We're going to do one line, bring it down, bring it up, bring it down, bring it up. You see it there a little bit? Do that. Just up and down. Make a zigzag on the trunks and space it out in different spots in the trunk and just keep going. And then that'll be it. That'll be a beautiful painting. All right, it looks really good. So hopefully I get to see what yours look like in the comments if you care to share. If not, that's okay too. Maybe you'll share them with me when you come back to school. That'd be even great too. Hopefully I'll see them in one way or another. I hope that you really enjoyed reading this story with me. I hope you enjoyed painting with me today, whether you painted or colored or just watched, whatever floats your boat. So remember that it's Earth Day, and we gotta take care of our planet, reduce, reuse, recycle, stay home, wash your hands. Remember that we love you, we miss you, and we'll see you all again really soon. Thanks so much.